watched a movie and just been blown away, thinking, how on earth did they do that? You know, from giant aliens tearing down cities to unbelievably realistic talking animals? Well, the magic behind the screen today is more complex and way more exciting than ever before. And it's not just one single trick, it's really a trio of amazing technologies. We're talking CGI, VFX, and virtual production that are completely changing the game. All right, so here's the plan for our little tour. First, we'll get a feel for filmmaking's new reality. Then, we'll finally settle the score and break down what CGI and VFX actually are. After that, we're diving into the absolute revolution that is virtual production. See how AI is basically the ultimate co-pilot for all of this. And then, we'll peek into the future with tomorrow's hybrid studio. You know, for the longest time, making movie magic was, well, it was a slow, super expensive, one-way street. But that's all changing. Today, these three distinct technologies are starting to blend together in some really powerful ways. And it's not just reshaping Hollywood blockbusters. It's changing everything, from the commercials you see, to the video games you play, to the content creators you watch online. Okay, let's jump into our first big comparison and finally clear up the confusion between two terms that get thrown around all the time. They're often used like they mean the same thing, but honestly, they come from two totally different worlds. So first up, CGI. It stands for computer-generated imagery. The easiest way to think about this is pure digital creation. It's the art of building something from nothing. You start with a blank digital canvas and you create it all inside a computer. If it wasn't physically there on set, it's almost certainly CGI. CGI is exactly how we get characters like the Hulk. For the Avengers, artists took Mark Ruffalo's motion capture performance as a starting point. But after that, every single thing, the way his muscles jiggle, the texture of his skin, was built completely from scratch in the computer. Or think about The Lord of the Rings. Weta FX used this incredible software called Massive to create entire digital armies where every single soldier could actually think for itself. Wild, right? All right, next up is VFX, or visual effects. Now, this isn't about starting with a blank canvas. VFX is all about taking what you already filmed with a real camera, real actors, real places, and then blending digital magic into that footage to create something new. So for that huge final battle in the Avengers, you weren't looking at a 100% digital world. The crew actually went out and photographed textures and buildings all over New York City to digitally rebuild about 10 city blocks. Then they layered in all the chaos, the explosions, Iron Man zipping past real buildings, right on top of that real-world foundation. That's VFX. So let's just boil it down. Here's the key takeaway. If you're creating a dragon from your imagination, that's CGI. If you're adding a digital explosion to a car chase you filmed on a real street, that's VFX. So CGI is painting on a blank canvas. VFX is like being an expert photo editor, adding new layers to an existing picture. For decades, actors had to perform in a sea of green. Just imagining the incredible world that artists would add in months or even years later. But what if you didn't have to imagine? What if you could merge the digital world with the real one, right there on set? Well, that's the next big shift. This one simple question. This is what changed everything. What if the actors could actually perform inside the visual effects and see it all happen in real time? This question completely shattered the traditional way of doing things. Film now, add the magic later. And the answer to that question is virtual production. It's a total game changer because it takes all that post-production work, the CGI, the VFX, and yanks it right onto the live set, basically collapsing the whole filmmaking schedule. So how does this magic actually work? Well, it's this amazing three-step dance, and it's all powered by modern video game engines. First, artists build a whole 3D world, like a desert planet, inside an engine like Unreal Engine. Then, that world gets displayed on these gigantic LED walls that surround the actors. And here's the kicker. As the real camera moves around, the digital world on the screens reacts instantly, creating perfect perspective and realistic lighting that actually shines on the actors. It gets rid of all the guesswork of a green screen. And because this completely upends both the creative and the financial side of filmmaking, it is a massive business. Studios are saving tons of time and money, and they're getting way more creative freedom. And that's why this market is just exploding. It's projected to jump from under $2 billion in 2025 to almost $25 billion in just 10 years. That's a rocket ship. So, what's pouring gasoline on this entire fire? You guessed it. Artificial intelligence.
And AI isn't some sci-fi concept anymore. It's a real tool that's being used in every single part of the filmmaking process.
And it all starts way before the cameras even start rolling, back in that creative brainstorming phase called pre-production. So instead of an artist spending weeks on sketches, directors can now use AI tools that can read a script and generate incredible concept art, or even animated storyboards, in just minutes. This is a huge deal because it lets them try out ideas super fast and lock in the look of a project right from the get-go. Then, once you're on set, AI is basically becoming the world's best assistant, helping to manage all the complicated moving parts of the shoot itself. Just imagine an AI that can read a script and suggest the perfect camera angle to make a scene more emotional. Or, get this, a system that can instantly reorganize the entire day's schedule because it started raining, saving thousands of dollars. This isn't science fiction anymore, it's really happening. And finally, in post-production, AI is doing two things. It's making the old way of doing things way faster, and, maybe more importantly, it's democratizing high-end visual effects for everyone. You know those tedious tasks that used to take artists days to complete? Now they can be done in minutes. AI can look at hours of footage and put together a decent rough cut, which frees up the human editor to focus on the storytelling. And the really cool part is that powerful AI is giving independent creators access to VFX tools that, just a few years ago, you'd have needed a Hollywood-sized budget for. Okay, so you've got CGI building worlds, VFX tweaking reality, virtual production blending them in real time, and AI speeding it all up. It's easy to wonder, right? Which one of these is going to dominate the future? But here's the thing, it's not a competition. The real answer is that none of them are going to win on their own. The magic is in how they all come together. We're absolutely heading toward a hybrid model. The studio of the future won't have to choose. It will just seamlessly blend all of these things. Just picture it, a scene shot on a virtual production stage, with a live actor talking to a completely CGI character, with some subtle VFX touches added later, and the whole thing is accelerated by AI tools in the cloud that let artists from all over the world work together. That's the future. And this democratization of these incredible tools is the most exciting part of this whole story. For 100 years, telling epic stories was limited by money and by technology. Well, that barrier is starting to crumble, empowering a whole new generation of creators. And it leaves us with one final, really big thought. When everyone has a Hollywood studio on their laptop, the only limit left is our own imagination. What stories will we tell next?